Zine Monsters, is Chris with Tabletops and Tentacles, here with a Zine Month preview video. So the first few of these I'm going to be looking at Itchfunding projects. And Itchfunding is a little bit different from Kickstarter. It's still crowdfunding. You're still donating a certain amount of money to help make that game happen. But it's going to be a little bit different depending on the project, which admittedly Kickstarter kind of has that same thing where sometimes you're funding a full thing, sometimes you're funding print on demand, but with Itchfunding sometimes you have to dig a little bit deeper to figure out what it is they're doing exactly. Generally speaking, with an Itchfunding project, you are going to be getting development logs, just like updates. You're going to be getting some digital copies of it, but there are a few of them on here that are also funding physical copies, and it will typically be one of those things where once everything's funded, you can get it print on demand, or you can buy the printed copy at a discount. So each one of those is going to be a little bit different. I strongly support Itchfunding. I think it's a really cool alternative to crowdfunding. I think it's a really fascinating thing that needs a broader attention brought to it. I also think Itch needs to set up a better page to show off the Itchfunding stuff, but that's a different matter entirely. But finding them can be difficult on it. So I wanted to do a lot of the Zine Month Itchfunding videos because they are ones that are harder to track down. You don't stumble across them. Their discover thing isn't as powerful analytically as Kickstarter and things like that. So with these ones, the caveat is the page is a little offsetting. However, they are 100% worth supporting. Generally speaking, they're actually cheaper to support than Kickstarters, and you can put in the minimum amount that it requests, or you can pledge as much as you would like towards it. Some of them do have different reward levels, but a lot of them just have a minimum pledge amount on there. And go wild. If it's something you want to support, give it more than the $2 they're asking for, because these guys are taking their project to an alternative site and they need the support that they can get from people who are interested in what they're making so they can keep making it without having to use Kickstarter or Indiegogo or somewhere like that. I think that this is a really cool system. I think that there is a long way to go in creating something like this that is a little stronger and more effective at bringing people to it. But for now, they need all the support they can get, and that comes from backing these projects. Thanks for watching. Let's dive in. So first up, we're taking a look at Discordantopia, a setting supplement for Pulka and Troika, and it is a dystopian punk spelljammer city from Sage to Mage, with art by Andy Animates and maps by Tony Dowler. I'm really into Tony's maps on here, and the art I've seen so far for Discordantopia has a very Mobius look to it. The color palette in particular is gorgeous. I'm super into what I've seen of this so far. It's doing pretty well for an itch-funded project. They've made $596 of their $1,000 goal. And what that's doing so far, if you go into the development log on there, it's unlocking artwork, it's unlocking maps, it's unlocking editing. And if they can hit their goal, they are going to be doing a print-on-demand printed version of this as well. So what is Discordantopia? So within this zine, on the player side, there will be 8 Pulka Troika compatible backgrounds, a brief player's guide with Cairn-esque player agendas, principles to ensure everyone is on the same page in regards to the setting, and thought-provoking character creation questions to get everyone invested at the table. On the GM side, there's similar stuff. It kind of walks you through how to use the book to its fullest, a guide to Armada, the city that Discordantopia takes place in, and just sort of sets it apart as being sort of a Electric Bastionland style, kind of funky magic tech. It's kind of hard to describe, but honestly, just the imagery on it right here gives you an idea of what you're looking at. I'm all in. I'm really excited about Discordantopia. I'm happy to see it doing as well as it is, and I hope you check it out. This is Moriah, This is an Itchfunding project. It has reached $367 of its $923.22 goal, which is a very specific amount. This is from Kyle Tam. It's a unique looking world and game and system in general. I'm getting eaten by Balrog, my new office assistant. Aerith was once a land of wonder, a place where none knew hunger or poverty or fear, a happy place where no one wanted for anything, and yet there were those that wanted, those that yearned to have more. None could say for certain how greed curled its way around the heart of the people who had what they wished. Some say that a snake wound its way into the collective hearts of the masses, infecting them with endless desire. Some say that it was manufactured and slipped into their food and drink, poisoning them with their thoughts of cruel excess. Whatever the cause may have been, the fact that it was those that took from others soon began to take from the land itself. As man took from the land, the gods who had built and preserved it watched, waited, observed to see if they would turn back their path of destruction. Finally, after centuries of deliberation and the slow, aching death of the world, they passed their judgment. The land that had been exploited fought back, bringing death and destruction upon humanity. Millions were lost to the flames, and that ate through steel and brick mercilessly, to the flood that capsized even the sturdiest ships, to the earthquakes that felled mighty bridges, and thunderstorms that smote the tallest of towers. Even now, the fury of gods remains unabated. Only an impassioned plea to the divine will quell their anger, but the voices of mankind cannot be heard when shouted from the land below. So Moriah is a simple role-playing game of ordinary people facing the extraordinary. It's a game of sacrifice where people living quiet lives at the base of a holy mountain must attempt to ascend it in order to ask for mercy from the gods. It's a meditation on what it means to give for others. It's going to be released in a non-formatted plain text and HTML ashcan version as part of Zine Month. So the interesting thing with this game is that it revolves around the ascent of a holy mountain, meeting challenges and reminiscing about your lives and worlds, creating a bittersweet gameplay experience. It's a GM-less system, and a sacrifice mechanic is featured in it very heavily, where you are actually cutting off body parts to temporarily boost dice types from a D4 up to a D100, or you can sacrifice fellow players for an automatic success and immediate boost. So it has a really interesting mechanic to it. It's kind of retrospective, it's a little sacrificial, it's got a really interesting aspect with dead players becoming deities to run the game. There's a character sheet where you track your character, and you also track what body parts you have remaining. There are different roads for the indecisive deities so that you can decide which way you're heading and what kind of path you're taking. And I just think it looks really fascinating. It's got tools for creating your own aspects to it. Their goal with Itchfunding is they are looking for money to pay for professional editing, layout design, and supplemental writing, as well as to pay the creators for what they've done so far. I think Moriah looks really interesting. The artwork's got a very, it's got a touch of like a digital watercolor to it that I think looks really cool. There are a number of different rewards you can choose with it. You can choose the $3 villager that accesses the ash can of Moriah, or you can go all the way up to the $100 profit, which gets you the PDF, stretch goals, contents, and they'll run a game of it for you. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's a really unique idea, and it's literally what Zine Month is designed for, is something unusual, something unique, something cool, and you should check it out. Well, they're just under halfway to their goal right now, but one of the cool things about Itchfunding is that they get the money regardless either way, so every dollar you put towards it, in this case $3 if you want just the basic version, helps them continue to create and make more cool content. As always, links are below, or you can go to tabletopsandtentacles.com/Zine Month to find all of the links to every video I've done for this month. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you'd like to support the channel, you can help us out by becoming a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/deeplydapper. However, we also have last month's Zine Month project, 3 Die 6, available now at DriveThruRPG, links below. as well as my newest project with Squid Ink Games called Escape Sequence Xeno, which is in late pledges right now, and you can get it at the link below as well. Thank you so much for watching. May you live in interesting times, and thank you for supporting indie creators and artists.